name is Kevin Day, and this is my final presentation for AEC3030C. My public speaking skills have improved immensely throughout the semester. During our first speech, I used a lot of filler words such as or you know, and not only does this show the audience that perhaps you're not prepared, but it also can show them a distraction. Another thing I wanted to work on throughout the semester was my confidence. During the first speech, I remember I had a posture standing to the side, I had a hand in my pocket for a bit, and I really wasn't showing the audience that I was there to command the room. Another thing that I worked on throughout the semester was maintaining eye contact. There were times where I would glance down or I would stare off into space, maybe to gather my own thoughts, but still it's distracting the audience. Another thing is to make sure that you move around. Sometimes people stand against or they'll stand like a statue, and that's something that can also show that either you're not confident or it distracts the audience. My nonverbal communication, I think, was something that really improved the most this semester. I was always able to get through the content that I wanted to speak about, but I didn't use such tools as regulators, which either can be from me or from the audience, which is a head nod or Other things such as proxemics, to make a point, to get close up to the audience and say something with authority, can really do a lot for your speech. Another thing is an effect display. Like if I'm talking about something that's a gross story, you give them that facial expression, and I think that really helped me, for someone who speaks monotone a lot of the time, to really get my points across. This is all coming back to being conscious of oneself. Knowing what works for me can also help me judge what others are feeling when they're speaking in a situation. One of the fears I had at the beginning of the semester was I was afraid that I would skip over a word or perhaps omit an entire sentence that I had written in preparation for my speech. This is because I used to prepare my speeches by writing them in full paragraph form, and I tried to memorize them and present them verbatim. The way that this class is outlined, with an outline, to have an introduction, to have 3 main points, to have transition words between those main points, and to have a dynamic conclusion. This all allowed me to really focus on getting the main objective of my statements instead of worrying about whether I froze because I forgot a word. The other fear that I had is that I was afraid that I might not be able to convey the exact mood or tone that I was trying to get to the audience. Now, with the use of nonverbal communication and my ability to change my tone and be able to speak a little bit louder, a little bit higher, really got me to get through to that next level of persuasion or informative speeches or just talking about myself. Public speaking still does generate anxiety. Now, at the beginning of the semester, I was anxious preparing my speech, before my speech, during my speech, and even after my speech, when my heart was still racing at my desk. The level of anxiety that I feel now is usually associated with excited. Now, I kind of relate that to flying on a plane. I don't get nervous that the plane's going to crash or I'm going to fail, but I'm more anxious to get to my destination. I'm excited to go on vacation. And that's how I feel during my speeches now. I have so much content that I want to give to the audience. I want to make sure that I use my tools as far as nonverbal communication, as far as maintaining that eye contact, and making sure that I can be at my best. The level of anxiety used to be from fear, and now I associate it with excited, and I want to get my information to them the way that I intended to give it to them. At the beginning of the semester, I recorded in my personal insight journal that my level of public speaker was a novice. Now, I know that I've improved in my skills throughout the semester, but I still don't consider myself to be an expert. I consider myself to be somewhere right in the middle of novice and expert, which is a professional, so I'm a pro. Now, the areas that I have for improvement I've realized that throughout each presentation that I get, the critiques from my classmates, from my teacher, from the person in the mock interview department, each time that someone can have me focus on something that I can do better, I do that better the next time. So although I'm increasing in a positive way, there's always room for improvement. And I only consider very few people in this world to be experts at public speaking. After giving all the speeches to this class, as well as the assignments, as well as the mock interview process, my respect for public speaking has gone through the roof. Not only is it for giving best man speeches, or presidential candidates, or giving a presentation. Those are all things that I thought before this semester. But now, with the job interview process, even just meeting individuals in your everyday life, public speaking is extremely important. The way that you present yourself, the way that others judge you, is all able to get you places. Now, if you want a job, if you want to meet a girl, if you want to sell a customer, all those things are based on your personal ability to present yourself. And this all comes down from public speaking. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. That quote sums up how important it was for the reflections that we did throughout the semester, as well as this final video reflection, to not only wrap up the class, but show myself how I can use the skills that I've learned in my future endeavors.